If someone were to offer you a free trip to the aliens for 1 year without any fear of harm, how much would you pay for that experience?
Everything.
Everything.
You
give it all up.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Because you know what the book deals would be and like the TV deals? I'd be worth way more money after that shit than right now.
For
sure.
You come back to David Letterman, Ellen,
for sure.
Oprah.
Yeah, I'd get a $50 million book deal in 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? What'd you do with the aliens for the last year? Be like, I'll tell you. Pay up, sucker.
Pay up.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Money Mondays podcast. I am here with my co-host, the real Tarzan. We have a very, very easy guest to interview today because this is one of my dearest friends on the planet. This guy has gotten almost 1 billion views on social media for his, how do I even say it? His outlook on life, the way he explains things, the reality of life. Almost 1 billion views, probably more by now. He's built a company that does tens of millions of dollars in sales for apparel, tens of millions of dollars in sales in coaching, and everything in between. We're going to talk about money, life, maybe a little bit about aliens. I want you guys to welcome Mr. Sean Whalen.
What is up, guys? What is up?
What's up, dog?
Hey. I like the aliens part. Let's do that.
All right. How rich are aliens?
Dude,
they don't actually have any money, right? But
Infinite, man.
Rich. Yeah.
Infinitely.
To have the coolest spaceships, you got to have...
Yeah, exactly.
I can say it. You gotta have fuck you money, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they have fuck you money.
To have a spaceship, you gotta have it.
They won the money game.
They're like digging metal off meteorites.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff, selling to Elon
They own
Musk.
planets.
Yeah.
People out here want to have like a house for $400K. These guys own planets.
We have a planet.
Galaxies, stars. All right, guys. So that was our funnest intro. We want to keep the Money Mondays podcast in the top 10 business category. We stayed that way for the last 6 weeks in a row. We have Sean Whalen here. I'm very excited about it. You guys are going to learn a lot here. You're going to want to share a lot of clips. I know there's going to be a lot of edited 30-second to 2-minute clips that come from this because Sean is very direct, very to the point. But Mr. Whalen, please give us the 2-minute bio so we can get straight to the money.
Lions on sheep. We've heard it. We've seen it. We've seen big, giant freaking snake handlers wearing the gear. Really excited about it. The brand's exploding. It's been a challenge growing it. It's a challenge growing any entrepreneurial endeavor and business, but love that. Love coaching of Lions and Not Sheep, the Lions Den, which is our coaching group. We have about 2,000 people in 13 different countries.
Wow.
In that, and it's been really fun. So Lions on Sheep is denting the universe, and I feel like we're just getting started, though. That's what's cool about it.
Where did the name Lions Not Sheep come from?
After my divorce, I went through a really dark period of time, and it came to me one day. And it actually, a lot of people don't know this, but it became my personal mantra for almost 2 years. So I actually wrote it on my bathroom mirror, and just it was literally my own personal, like, kind of Sean 2.0, post-divorce, post-bankruptcy, like, this is my coming back, if you will, and was literally my mantra before I ever spoke it to anybody else, before it was ever on a T-shirt or a hat or anything like that. And then a couple years later, I made a T-shirt, and it was posted on social media one day. Somebody saw it, sent me a message, said, how do I get one of those? I'm like, I don't know. I just had my buddy make this for me, kind of a deal, and that was where the apparel took off and started.
And when did you decide the turning point from entrepreneur, social media star, business guy to actually start coaching people?
Dude, I was resistant to it for a long time. I thought coaching was stupid. I didn't get it. You know what I mean? I was like, people would call and I just talk to them and chop it up and shoot the shit. And I realized that there was some real value in the experiences that I'd had and the lessons that I had learned through divorce, through bankruptcy. I mean, you learn a lot losing millions of dollars. You learn a lot going through heartache. You learn a lot going through a divorce. And so I had some good friends that were coaches at the time reach out and just say, look, man, like, you really should be helping people. Like, you should really formalize this and start to help people answer questions and build their lives back up. And so it was a couple years after I launched Lions Not Sheep that I had my first little event and offered a $97 coaching program that started with one person and then 2 people and then 200 people and then 2,000 people. Wow. And it's grown like crazy over the last 7-8 years.
That's wild.
Yeah, we've had almost 9 years. The Lions Den's been in existence for almost 9 years. 9 years ago I started it.
When you started the clothing brand, how many years has that been?
Officially, we started selling merch in 2020, but I started in 2016.
So 2020 started merch.
Yeah.
And you were doing $5-10 million in sales within the first couple of years.
We did. Within our first 6 months, we hit our first $1 million month, which was really incredible.
Oh, wow.
Our first $1 million month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was November of 2020.
Black Friday.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We did well with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but yeah, we had everything was just organic. People would see me wearing it online, and I had my mom making our gear. So like literally, I had one heat transfer. Somebody would come to lionsonsheep.com. They'd see the T-shirt, they'd buy it. My mom would literally make it, mail it, send it out. We do 20 shirts a month, maybe. maybe if that, just organically. But as the tribe grew, as the coaching group grew, as the brand grew, I just decided, like, I really feel like there's a space that we could enter into with an official apparel line, like legitimately take it serious, start to market it, push it, new designs, new concepts, besides just kind of like our OG design. And I'm glad that I did, because it took off.
Yeah. All right, so on the Money Mondays podcast, we talk about three main topics. How do you make money? How do you invest money? How do you give it away to charity? And we'll also talk about aliens a little bit today. So on the first topic, on how do you make money, we've been talking about coaching, info products, and obviously the clothing brand itself. Why is it important to have multiple streams of income or multiple businesses or multiple investments so that you're not all in on any one thing?
For me, I have severe ADHD, so for me it's kind of a natural. Like, I have to be doing multiple things. I'm stimulated by having different ventures, different ideas, different things that come into my brain. So for me, it's always been that way. I've always been doing multiple things at one time. I don't know why other people do it, but for me, it's just simply based off of my inability to focus on one specific thing for an indefinite period of time. But for me, also knowing that there's a lot of things that I don't know about in the marketplace that other people do that I can invest my money with that ultimately pay long-term dividends, long-term returns. Restaurants being one of those. I started investing in restaurants a couple years ago. I'm not an operator. I'm not flipping the burgers and doing the deal, but I also understand the guys that do. And so backing some restaurants and investing in some restaurants was one of my ventures outside of my day-to-day operations that has done really, really well for me. But I think having multiple sources of income is a good thing if you know what you're doing, and if you actually are paying attention to what you're doing versus just trying to do it because it seems cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Why do people or business owners or entrepreneurs need coaches?
You have to know what you don't know. And this took me a long time in business. It took me going through a bankruptcy to realize that, I know what I don't know, and I have to have the humility enough to come to somebody and say, teach me something, right? I mean, the quickest way to success is finding somebody that has the result that you want and investing in their skill set to teach you. I mean, the guy who's got the six-pack, the quickest way to get a six-pack is to just pay him to teach you how he got a six-pack. Right. Same thing in business. A guy who's built a $100 million apparel brand, I'm just going to pay him to teach me, hey, what did you do along the process from 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 20 to 30 kind of a deal, and he gives you the data, and you just apply that to your own like kind of recipe and spit out the return. But for me, it's like, once I understood the value of coaching, like, I'll never go without a coach, a fitness coach, business coach. I mean, we have a marriage coach. My wife and I have a marriage guy who's been married for who knows how long. It's a really freaking sweet guy. And every time we go, like, our marriage isn't in trouble, but we invest in that because we want to know more. We want to deepen our marriage. And, for us, it's like, in every facet of my life, I have a coach, and I'm telling people the same thing. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you often have this line, get your house in order.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
My goal as a man is to need nothing. Like, I want to need nothing, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, physically, and whether you call it the end of the world, whether the aliens come down, whether the government fucks the whole thing up, who knows, right? I mean, we want the aliens to come down.
We really want to.
But at the end of the day, man, like, getting your house in order emotionally and psychologically is not something that we're taught. I was never taught that as a kid. I was never taught, like, the psychological strength and empowering yourself and reading books and education and growing, you know what I mean? The same thing financial, like getting your house in order, like, 80% of this country lives paycheck to paycheck, but they think because they have a job that they have security. There's nothing more dangerous to you and to your family than not knowing that you're going to live past another paycheck. Right. You know what I mean? So getting your financial house in order, your physical house in order, being able to physically protect yourself as a man is super, super, super important. Something that I'm always talking about with Lions Not Sheep, with the end goal being needing nothing, being able to provide for yourself emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and physically without needing anything from anybody.
Tarzan. The content that you create gets you literally like 200 million views a month. Sean, I don't know the number. I think it was 1 billion views last time I checked. I think that was like a few months ago. When you guys get this type of eyeballs on you, yesterday we were walking through the airport and you got stopped 37 times. Like, how do you guys deal with the actual like real life stuff? Because a lot of people say they want to get famous or build a personal brand. Yeah. And so you get famous and you can't walk through the airport. Both of you guys, just talk about the real life part of building a personal brand and what happens in that transition.
Well, I mean, I personally love it. I appreciate it. It's gotten me to go around the world, see different perspectives of life, meet people, take my brand to the next level, work with tons of different species of animals from professionals. Like, I want to work in primatology, so I go to hang out with the actual real primatologists, like a coach, or I recently went to Australia and I get to hang out with people that live out in the outback, I want to learn about venomous snakes. Top 10 venomous snakes on the planet come from Australia, you know? So being famous is a great thing, but it also has its perks of like really catapult you into what you want to do as your passions, as your dreams. You know, I want to, you know, I have my own merch as well, Wild Breed and Wild Ones, you know, my whole Wild brand. We got the Wild Jungle. So all these things are just like, I use it as a motivation when I go out. You know, I don't go out much. When I go to the airport and people are like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, one guy asked us yesterday, "Can you work for us?" You know, and I'm like,
the guy that worked at JetBlue asked to work for us.
That's cool.
He's like, "I saw you put application up.
Yeah,
can I work for you guys?"
Yeah.
It's like, bro, that is so crazy, man.
Yeah.
You know, so I take it all with a grain of salt. You know, and I love it, and I really just I soak it in, man. You know, and I appreciate it. I don't ever take it for granted. I say hi to everybody, shake everybody's hand. I never ever in my life refused a photo from anybody. You know, gave everybody my personal time because they helped change my life. You know.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same thing. I'm humbled by it. It's really a humbling experience when you know that something that you're passionate about, that you shared in this world of social media that just floated out into the cosmos and it landed on somebody's phone and they took the time to watch it and then they became a fan and then a follower and then a customer or whatever. It's really, truly humbling to me. And it's really cool for me knowing that just me living my life, being a dad, being a husband, being, you know, father, a patriarch, a business owner, just me living my life and sharing that every single day is helping thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions perhaps, like to truly like dent their own universe. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really, really, really humbling. I'm the same way. Like I've never walked past anybody. It's like people come up to you in a restaurant, they come up here, dude, I love your stuff, follow you on social media. What's been really cool since I've been married for 2 years now, is my wife getting stopped. Yeah. Like that's really fun for me now. They're like, when the women, because I'm used to it being me, and now like women, they normally come up like, oh my God, I love your stuff, and they go up right to her, and I'm like, yes, hell yeah, like I love that shit. It's so freaking cool, but it's truly, truly, truly humbling.
So the second category that we like to talk about here is investing. You mentioned earlier you've been investing in a bunch of restaurants. Why did you choose restaurants, and what other things do you like to invest into?
My first investment is me. I love investing into me. I love investing into my mindset, my skill set. I love investing in experiences. You know, you're not really getting dividend other than memories, but to me right now in my life where I am, like the most important thing to me is memories. I mean, I've got 5 kids from 20 down to 11. So for me, I want to play the game of life to where if I was to check out tomorrow, I obviously have my financial house in order for my family, but I'm investing in memories. I'm investing in experiences. So I think we joked about that like the end of last year. We were talking about what are you investing in next year? And I was like, experiences, memories. And but I definitely think that knowing where you can put your money into a marketplace where you have like restaurants, for example. I got into restaurants because the management group that was running these restaurants is good. I mean, they're top notch. They're expanding, they're growing, they're making money. So for me, it was like, this is a place that I can put my money, not worry about it, trust the individuals that, you know, I'm investing with, partnering with. But for me, number one, like every single day I wake up, it's just like, I want to invest in me first. I find that that's given me the biggest dividend, the biggest return of anything that I've ever done.
It also takes investing a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right? You have to make a decision of what you put your money, your time, your personal brand behind. I'll start with you, Tarzan. How do you choose what you actually put your name, likeness, time, money behind?
Well, you know, when you have a big brand like how all three of us have, you know, you got to be real particular who you spend, you know, your time with, you know, who you get in bed with business with, you know. And I think I said before, being congruent with your message, with your brand, with your outlook. You know, you've even talked about investing in your fears earlier. You know, I like to invest in things that's going to make me better. You know, I can have, you know, like 25 different drink companies I can go to business with, but I'd rather work with like Arizona iced tea for free. You know, but they'll send me out to the Galapagos to see different iguanas and do some research and hang out, or I can get a check from somebody else, and it's like I don't get that experience.
Yeah.
You know, I'm investing in something that can really teach me, you know, without the actual money aspect, but it gives me more value, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So interesting you said investing in your fears. A couple years ago, Sean bought a snake.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
And you're sitting next to the number one snake guy in the world.
Showing a picture. He's like, oh, it's a good looking snake.
Explain the story. Man. Like, when you say investing into your fears, explain that.
Dude, I bought the race car. I started racing cars because of this. I was deathly afraid of snakes. And it kind of goes back to my Jordan story. I had lived 40 years without ever buying a pair of Jordans. I can afford Jordans, but I wrote in my brain, like I had this story, like, yeah, I could afford all these shoes, but I've never bought them. And so I somehow had this weird story in my brain, like this was like this heroic, noble thing that I'd never bought the Jordans. And I ended up buying a pair of Jordans, and it was really spiritual. You know the story.
It's addicting.
It was a spiritual like experience for me. And it sounds funny to some people, but that sent me down the path of looking at my life saying, all right, how many other stories do I have? You know, I'd never had a bad experience with a snake before, but I hated snakes. And one of my dearest friends, he breeds these snakes, and I'd always go up to his place. He's got hundreds of them, and I'm like, hey, yeah, that's cool. And he'd hold them over there. I'm like, I'll just like touch it for a second. I'm good. And it just literally came to me one day, and I called him, and I was like, yo, man, I want a snake. And he's like, what are you talking about? You don't like snakes. He's like, you fucking hate snakes. Why do you want a snake? I'm like, no, dude, I want a snake. Give me a snake. Like, give me the one that I can grow with and learn from. And long story short, he ends up bringing the snake to my house, sets the whole thing up, and he's like, you have to play with this thing. You have to touch this thing and like hold it in order for it to appreciate people and not bite people and shit. And the very first day that he left, it was one of those funny things where I went over to it and it was like, I pulled this little teeny reticulated out, and I'm holding it, and it starts like climbing around me and climbs up on my head. And it was one of those moments where I was like looking for the pet store guy. I'm like, where's the guy? Yo, get this thing off me, guy. I am the pet store guy. And we had a really cool spiritual experience. Like, it's really funny. Like, sat there and like looked up at me, and I'm looking at this snake, and I'm like, this snake doesn't know me any more than I know it. Like, why am I afraid of these things? And I realized that for 42 years, I had been afraid of snakes, sold myself the story that I was afraid of snakes, but I had zero reason to be. And so in that moment, I started literally looking at every aspect of my life. Like, okay, what else am I afraid of? What else do I have a story about? And I've just been checking off the list. I bought a race car last year, racing cars professionally. You're terrified lining up in a supercar, doing 160 miles an hour with dudes that have been racing for 20 years. Like, what business do I have doing that? I don't know, but it was something I was scared of, so I did it. And so for me now, it's like looking at all of these things that are your fears and just checking them off one by one, you know, going down that list of, here's a story. Okay, that's a story, check, you know, same thing. So Butters is my snake, and me and Butters have a cool relationship, man.
Guys, not to mention, he actually got the longest snake on the planet.
Which I didn't know at the time. I just told my buddy, give me a snake.
They get about 24 feet long.
Yeah.
He's had a snake, 2 years now, right?
24
Yeah.
feet?
They get 24 feet. He's had 2 years now,
But
right?
Butters is about 12 feet right now.
Come on.
Swear to
12
God.
feet, bro.
Do you remember Butters?
I
when
remember
Butters,
it was on this table. It would fit on this table.
Butters is ceiling to floor now.
No.
Wild. Swear to God.
Crazy.
Butters could fit on this table before.
Butters was teeny when I got Butters. Butters is growing
is
fast.
big.
Oh my God.
It's crazy, dude.
Wow.
So she's supposed to be like 14, 15 feet, 130, 140, 150 pounds. So at some point in time, I'm going to have to be like, okay, like, do I donate this to a zoo? Do I keep this thing? What do I do?
Wild jungle.
I'll bring it to your house,
We
you know?
got a place for it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of snakes now.
I'll trade you those
Yeah.
other small ones. You get
All right,
another
deal.
process.
Done.
Butters part 2. Okay, so when you say investing into your fears, let's talk about people that are listening. How can they invest into themselves? What are the things that they can do, whether it's get a coach, Lion's Not Cheap, the Lion's Den coaching? Like, what are the things people can do to invest in themselves to make themselves better?
Dude, learn something, man. I mean, we have infinite. What do we really know? What do you really know? You know what you know, but there's so much that we don't. You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan of education and study. I love studying shit. I bought a book on botany. I don't know why. I was interested in plants and learning shit, and I've just bought this ranch, and so I wanted to learn about trees and what trees grow in this vegetation and stuff like that. And it's not something that I woke up like just, I'm going to go buy this book, but I realized this is a knowledge base that I don't have. And so I'm literally investing in myself and investing in my knowledge. The same thing, I love private aviation. Studying airplanes, learning on airplanes, different things like that. So you can't ever go wrong with education. I don't think any human being could ever go wrong with education. You're never going to read a book, learn something, and be like, man, that was dumb. I wish I'd have never done that. And I truly believe the more that you expand your mindset there and wanting to learn and wanting to grow and wanting to expand, that trickles over in every other aspect of your life. You know, you become more valuable. You become more knowledge-based. You become more knowledgeable. You become a better asset to whether you're working for somebody else as an employee or as an employer, the more knowledge you have. So for me, it's like, dude, people should just be hungry for knowledge. They should be hungry for information, like seeking out everything that they can, attending classes, like hiring coaches, going like through like Black Site, learning different things. Most people don't know how to shoot a gun. Right. Go and train at Black Site and learn tactical movement, things like this. You'll never regret any of that. Right. So for me, like, I'm 44 and I'm soaking everything up. Hiring people, working with people, going to classes, doing things as much as humanly possible just to gain my own knowledge and expansion.
Right. I mean, I still sit at the events that we speak at. I still sit through them
and listen
to the people I look up to.
Yeah.
Or our peers. Or people that by the way, they're just an expert in one thing, and if I learn that one thing, it changes my whole life at scale.
Totally.
Think about when you start to have a company doing 2 million or 10 million or 20 million or 50 million, etc., and you learn how to do something 2% better.
Yep.
2% better.
It's a huge dividend.
And then think about it. That doesn't go away. Like when we had the 100 million mastermind, it's $100,000 to join the group. Okay. 2019, we sold out the group in a couple months. My only pitch, besides being in a room full of instructors and just like most masterminds, my only pitch was, this is for people doing 10 million or more. Do you think that with 100 members and 20 instructors, we can help your business make or save 1%? If we can help you make or save 1%, then the event's free.
Yep.
100 grand is free. Oh, and by the way, you're now going to have that knowledge forever. So if you do 10 million this year, 14 million next year, 22 million the year after, and we helped you save 1%, it's not just free. We helped you make money.
Right.
And it was sold.
yeah.
Everybody jumped in because one little thing compounds. Like you just said, that information doesn't go away.
Yep.
You learn how to drive a car, shoot a gun, CPR, etc. When that moment comes that you need to perform CPR, you might literally save someone's life just because of the knowledge inside your mind.
Yep.
I actually had that situation twice. I was in my office, a girl 28-year-old girl, you'd never think twice about it. She's just working in the room. There's one other girl in there. That's it. There's 2 girls in the room, nobody else. And out of nowhere, she turns bright red, purple, and we don't know why. She's not saying anything. We think it's a joke. And she realized she just had like a piece of chicken stuck in her thing.
Shit.
And CPR I learned 11 years ago jumps into effect, and I pop, and chicken bone goes flying. Anyways, I'm glad it worked out. She's alive, by the way. She made it. But if I didn't learn CPR, I don't know what I would have done. I might have done it wrong. I might have broke a rib. I might have karate chopped her, and she might be dead. Or I might have just messed something up. And just that one little piece of knowledge changed the trajectory of her life, at least. And if she would have died in front of me, oh my God, my discussion right now would be way different, right? I'd probably be somber about it. I'd be crying because I let a girl die in front of me because I didn't know how to perform CPR.
Yep. I hired a fitness coach one time, paid him for 90 days. And it's funny because I paid him a lot of money for it. People are like, why would you do that? And those 3 months, I have all of that programming forever. I can take that 90-day window and inject it into my life anytime I want. Every single workout, every single deal, the entire meal plan. I only paid for it one time.
Right.
And I paid for it 5 years ago.
Right.
So you think about it from that perspective, like you go extract something from somebody's brain, you have that forever. I have that 90-day workout plan that I can do at any given time, whenever I want, forever, and I paid for it one time. This is what I try and get people to understand. Join a mastermind, join a group, spend 6 months, 12 months, whatever in there, extract everything that you can from that, put it into your life, and then go do that again and again and again. And you'll be using stuff like that years from now. I'll be using that workout forever. You know what I mean?
There's different versions of what I'm about to say that people have brought up over the years. If you were 77 years old, how much would you pay to be 57 years old?
Oh, yeah.
How much would you pay for 20 years back?
Yeah.
If someone passes away that's close to you, how much would you pay for one more year with that person or even that dog?
Yeah.
Like, how much would you pay for one more year? The numbers most people say are infinite.
Right.
Priceless. Almost everything, right? When you're in that hospital bed, how much would you pay for one more month hanging out with your kids or one more month being around your family members? It's almost infinite. Because in those moments, nobody cared that you got them a 3rd house or a 4th car. They care about that you played volleyball with them and basketball with them and pickleball with them, and you went to Costa Rica and Cabo with them.
Yep.
And so when I think about things like that, that's why I overdo it, is what I say. I'm intentionally teleporting nonstop all around the country, all around the planet. I'm intentionally flying around because we're going to die real soon. We don't know if it's in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, but even 100 years is real soon when you really think about the grand scheme of the universe has been around for, who knows, hundreds of millions of years.
Since the aliens created
Since the aliens created it. So that's a good segue into aliens. We've never talked about Money Mondays, aliens before, and we're probably never going to talk about it again, but since Sean Whalen is here.
Done. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Should we FaceTime Casey on this one and get her involved? She's going to be really bummed she wasn't part of this conversation.
So, Casey, if someone were to offer you a free trip to the aliens for 1 year without any fear of harm, how much would you pay for that experience?
Everything.
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 You give it all up.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%. Because you know what the book deals would be and like the TV deals? I'd be worth way more money after that shit than right now. For sure.
You come back and get David Letterman, Ellen,
oh yeah, for sure.
Oprah.
Yeah, I'd get a $50 million book deal in 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? What'd you do with the aliens for the last year? Be like, I'll tell you, pay up, sucker.
Pay up.
Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, that to me, that's like the experience, right? Like, what would you pay to go to space? I want to go to space. It's kind of on my bucket list. At some point in time when that becomes available, just to do it. Yes. And I joked with Saxony, my wife, I'm like, I want to do date night in space. I want to get to a place in my life where I can call whoever has the spaceship and be like, yo, Wednesday night's date night. How long is the trip? We go up for 2 hours, do some dinner up there, you know, eat a Hot Pocket. And like, we eat a Hot Pocket in space, and you come back down, kind of a deal.
They have a version now. It's like $250K. It'll get cheaper, but you basically just go like this in an arch.
Yeah.
And it's just for the night. Like it's a couple hours.
Yeah, I want to go up. I want to like go to the moon or some shit. It looks like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It looks like you're up there though. I think they're gonna make it. I heard they're gonna make it 55K. And I think when they make it 55K, they'll be sold out. Like that business will rush it.
Yeah, for sure.
55K, but it's like a short, like I said, it's just like a short trip up and down.
Yeah,
we're not far off from that. I mean, dude, Musk is SpaceX is sending up a rocket a week. Right now. I mean, up and back.
Yeah,
like,
he did 9 in one day.
Dude, that's insane.
9 in one day.
People don't realize how many rockets.
And they land on something the size of this RV. They land right back in the same spot.
Yeah, they literally like re-prep it, shoot it back up.
I can't even park the RV in the same spot. They make a rocket land in the same spot back and forth.
That guy's an alien.
We're close. He's an alien for sure.
If there's an alien on planet Earth,
100%.
it's Elon Musk.
Here's what
I get him on the show.
This is my number one. This is my number one goal. Here's what I say. I talked to Casey about it over and over. If time travel exists, Elon Musk is the one that did it. Think about it. No other human in history has had more than one multi-billion-dollar company. Sorry, there's a couple guys that have 2 multi-billion-dollar companies. Nobody else has more than 2 multi-billion-dollar companies. He's got 4 at the same time and growing. And I think Starlink is going to make him a trillionaire.
Yeah.
The Starlink Wi-Fi that we're actually adding to this, we just got it for the RV. The Starlink Wi-Fi that's on like Jet Suite X flights is so fast you can like download videos in a plane. You can put it on RVs and put it in the middle of the desert. Something bad happens in Ukraine or Romania or Uzbekistan. All of a sudden, 2 days later, there's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Think about what happens at scale when there are whole countries and continents that haven't had Wi-Fi ever. And now this guy's just going to drop fucking satellites.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's putting them all up. He's shooting these rockets up and going up there. You have to ask him, though. When you get him on the show, you got to ask him this, okay? Because supposedly, and again, it could be a total lie, but they shot the Tesla Roadster up there, and they shot it towards Mars. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what's in it. You know how they put the little astronaut-looking guy in there?
Yeah.
Like, what did he stick in the trunk? What secrets did he put in that where he's like, nobody's going to fucking know? And he's shot it to Mars. He's like, 30 years from now, I'm going to go get that thing or somebody's going to find it. I want to know what's in that Tesla Roadster. You know what I'm saying?
I think.
All right. So now we're going to switch from aliens to the other topic I have never discussed on Monday Mondays, and I rarely ever will. And it's politics.
Well, here we go. See, I love this.
This is the most special episode ever. Sean Whalen, let's just say, what percentage chance are you going to run for the President of the United States of America?
In my lifetime, 100.
100%. Sean Whalen is going to run for president.
For sure.
Give it a full shot.
Here's the way that I look at it. I'm working on some projects. I don't have small goals. I've got big goals. I'm really trying to push the envelope. I would love to make $1 billion. I've got some really clear plans that I think I can do that with. The last 2 presidencies, the average price that they've spent is about $535 million. That's what their total investment was in the presidency. I would love nothing more than to just be able to write be like, all right, who's the best? Give me the best guys, the best campaign dudes. Look, here's 500. Let's just round it up to a solid $600 million. Buy me 1600 Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go live in the White House. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a lot more feasible than we think, though, for someone like me, someone like Andy Frisella, a normal guy. We're seeing that. I mean, Trump kind of paved the way for some really interesting conversation around that. And I think more and more and more that this country is moving into a direction where we don't want politicians anymore. We want a normal ass dude that's in there that's not going to be in there for 40 years. Go in, do your freaking civic duty, come home, call it a day, kind of a thing. So I think someone like me, someone like, Frisella, whoever, whatever, you're going to see that happen. But 100%, I'm going to run for it.
I've always said, and I've never wavered from this, I want to see a true CEO business guy in the office because America is a business. It's the biggest business on the planet. We're bigger than any other country. We're smaller than all of them, but we're bigger as far as a global domination force, even though they're trying to take a lot of those things away from us because we have a weak president currently. I would love to see a true businessman CEO in that office, because think about what we really need. What do we care about as citizens? Taxes, our paved roads, to feel safe, to have efficiency. Well, a CEO is going to figure out how to get the roads paid in the fastest time, right? 15 years for a freeway is insane.
Yep.
In LA, it takes 15 years, 12 years for a freeway.
Crazy.
You know how stupid that is.
By the time they're done with it, they're already tearing up the part that they just did again, and it's just this nonstop thing.
cycle.
But if you had a CEO like Elon Musk, he built the boring tunnel roads underneath in a couple years. So a CEO can do it in a couple years, but we can't do it above ground. And he's going underground. We can't do it above ground in less than 12 to 15 years and spend billions of dollars for asphalt and concrete.
So here's a question then I got to ask you then. What would it take for you to run for president?
To take the politics out of politics.
Okay.
The only true reason that I don't like politics is the politics part of it, is that there's a lot of fakeness, backstabbing, side deals, behind the room deals. And I don't mind the concept of side deals except that they're doing it self-serving, not for the country.
Right.
Imagine if the CEO or business person did like what I do for my businesses and you do for your businesses. I do a lot of side deals and partnerships and collabs, etc. So nothing wrong with collabing with foreign countries and even enemies and partnerships to make sure for the business, which is the country.
Right.
But when you do it to make yourself richer, that's the problem to me. Like that's why I want someone who's independently wealthy in there that doesn't need to go borrow $535 million in the office. Like I would love to see someone like DeSantis go in there to fight and win for it. I don't know if he can afford it.
Sure.
I think he'd be a great option for us because we have someone similar to Trump that actually has really good on camera, speaks really well, and has common sense. I love that part of it. I would like to see someone in that fashion. The only reason I wouldn't do it is I'm not going to go sit and smile in the cameras 14 times a day in the foreign countries that I don't think actually have our best interests at heart, and they're working back deals for their own self-interest. If we were working on side deals, commission deals, hey, if you do this for Saudi Arabia for oil, we want 10%, great, but not 10% to the family. I don't like that part.
Yeah.
And that's never going to change because people are self-serving. And that's why I built my businesses in my life to be all for my businesses and companies, because if I put it all under one big umbrella, everyone wins. And I feel like too often we've watched you see the stats and the screenshots all the time. Politician goes in making $240,000 a year, and now she's got $19 million in the bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Obama, what was he worth? Like $1 million, and he's worth like $200-something million right now. It's crazy.
Okay.
You see what we're doing? We're going to get him, though. We're turning the money, show it in politics. We talked a lot about it on
why doesn't
my podcast.
Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk run for president or some shit like that, you know?
So Elon can't, right? He's from South Africa.
Right.
There are business guys of that level that have considered it. I forgot the name, not Steve Case. There's a really big billionaire business guy that's considered it. They don't have enough fame, and you need to have fame.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And if you don't have fame, like the Democrats never have fame behind them, they have the money to make that person famous. Which is interesting because even when you make them famous, doesn't mean that they convert.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect example. Biden does events at small venues and doesn't fill it up. Trump does events, and I'm not saying vote Trump or Biden, that part's irrelevant to me. From a personal brand perspective, the conversion rate is Trump fills up stadiums.
Mm-hmm. Trump
fills up arenas, and he always has and he always will. Biden doesn't. He'll have an event in this parking lot and he won't fill the parking lot up. And so from a realist perspective and from a social media guy agency perspective, I just don't see that part. They propped him up, but doesn't have the conversion rate. And so there are interesting characters. I think Robert Kennedy just applied yesterday to run for presidency. He has the legacy name, so he has the bloodline, but you need someone to prop you up to make that person famous.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very big deal for the future. We could see The Rock do it. You could see someone like that is the most famous.
Imagine The Rock as president.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't align with him politically on some things. Sure. You know what I mean? But I think those are the people that you want to see in there. The people that aren't politicians. You know what I mean? They're not looped into the backdoor deals that you're talking about. I think that's really like George Washington, the very first president of this country, didn't want to be president. Like, he didn't want to. Like, when they formed the country, like, he had to be kind of pulled in and roped in and be like, no, you need to do this, and persuaded by his friends. He didn't want to do it. Those are the people you want leading the country because they're there to do the job, then go home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, last segment, we'd like to talk about how to give money away to charity. When you think about charity, I like to be clear about it. It's not just about money. It's time, energy, and focusing on something and rallying the community together behind something. We did our toy drive literally at your warehouse. When we did the world's largest toy drive, the day before was 160,000 toys in Los Angeles. A week prior to that, I said, hey, Sean, can we borrow your warehouse? And not only say yes, you brought in the whole team, and we loaded up your warehouse with like 4 days notice.
Yeah.
And the whole community came out to drop off toys, and the community came out to pick up toys, all efficiently in 9 hours. How do you decide what charities you align with, whether you're writing a check or putting your name behind?
The biggest one for me right now is OUR. And I do operations with OUR in addition to giving them my money. Operation Underground Railroad. They work with sex trafficking and that. But one of the things that I do that I'm really passionate about, and it might sound really trivial and small, but like I love being out and giving people money like wherever I can, like in the food service industry.
Yes.
Like I love tipping, and I tip really, really well. Not just like 50% or 100%, but like I look at me as that's charity.
Yes,
like
for sure.
Knowing that this is a person that
hardworking.
I've seen it happen so many times that you leave somebody an extraordinary tip, $1,000 tip on a $100 meal,
right?
And I try to get out before the person comes because I just want it to be there. But every now and again, you see somebody that'll come up and they'll say like, you have no idea, like this just happened in my life.
Right.
And to me, like that's charity. To me, like me being able to make that dent in the universe, it's fine to write a check to whoever, but I can touch that. I can see that. I can experience that. And that really fills my cup. But I also know that I can do a lot more good with my own money that way than, giving to the Red Cross or those big charities. But OUR is really the only one that I'll donate money. And I also donate time to. And then addition to that, just giving my own time, my own money to people when I can.
Can you give us a quick story from an OUR mission? It's very real. It's very dark. And I think that a lot of people don't realize how real it is. Saxon and I were down on an operation last year in South America in a very popular tourist town, and you would be surprised how easy it is to purchase human beings. It's unreal.
I don't want to turn this dark and whatever else, but it's very real.
Yep.
And we're literally in right across from a Senior Frogs like touristy town area, and you can purchase human beings in these places. And I'm not just talking prostitutes.
How much?
You can purchase kids for a couple $1,000s.
That is crazy.
And it's all over the place.
I don't mind getting a little dark because I'm going to ask people to donate to this.
OUR is a really unique organization. I know Tim Ballard really well. He's a dear friend of mine. I mean, I've personally been on undercover operations, and it is extraordinarily dark, especially as a father. I mean, I have kids.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult work. A lot of dudes just like, yo, let's go. Let's just go fuck everybody up. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, that's not what you're doing. Right. You have to become darkness. You have to become a shitty human being to get yourself infiltrated into a space where you can find these kids,
right?
And it's a struggle because I look at it and I can't save everybody, I can't save the world and the whole thing, but to me it's like if I can be part of something like that and help one human being find light, that ultimately 20 years from now, that one person coming out of being kidnapped and sex trafficked, their posterity then goes on to change the world, kind of a thing. Like knowing that I had some sort of impact in that is huge to me. But it's very, very real. I can tell you that the money that OUR uses for these operations is used very, very appropriately. They're doing operations literally all over the world, like numerous countries, and it's happening everywhere. So
how can people donate?
You can just go to OUR.com, I believe, and they have their donate information. I mean, I don't have a link or a code or anything like that, but it's something that I'm really passionate about as a father. I was introduced to it. I met some people that had been pulled out of sex trafficking through Tim Ballard and attended a dinner one night and instantly knew that I had to be involved. And so I kind of put my name on the list, like, hey, if you ever need me. And a couple of years ago, I got a call at 5 p.m. They said, we need you on a midnight flight. Can you do it? And I'm like, no questions about it. And I'll never forget that moment where I sat down with my kids and I said, hey, this is what we're doing. Yeah. This is what's going on. Because we got the badass. Like, let's go do this. And then all of a sudden they call and they're like, hey, you're going to a third world country. You're not going to be armed. And this is a very, very dangerous deal. You're buying children from the cartels and shit like that. And I'll never forget as long as I live, my daughter saying, Dad, go. They need you more than we do. And it changed me.
Oh my God, that was weird.
It changed me, man. That moment changed me. And so for me now, it's like knowing that I can help people, every day as I'm out and getting dinner and help a single mom and, a waitress here or a server there, whatever. But knowing that you can go literally save a human being, from that type of terrible, terrible darkness is something I'm really, really, really passionate about.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's real work right there, man.
right, guys. I'm going to ask one more thing just to end on a good note. Going into 2023, we're living in a world of chaos.
Yeah.
The media is trying to portray a lot of things about the recession, but then we were in Vegas last week, and every nightclub sold out, every restaurant sold out, everything's booked. So we're not in the same recession that they're trying to portray. There are bad things happening in our economy, but it's not. The world's not falling down. What would you say to people to stay calm in the chaos as we go into 2023 and 2024?
Turn inward. Turn inward. Look at your family. Really get your house in order, man. Your family needs, especially for the men out there, your family needs leadership. They need you to understand that we can create calm in the storm. We need to be the calm in the storm. My home, my family needs to be calm in the storm, and that starts with me. And so me having my house in order is imperative. It's literally the most important thing to me in my life, because I have the kids and I have a wife and I have a tribe of people. But I tell people all the time, man, there's so much fucking good in the world. We're bombarded with a lot of bad, but you just open up, walk down the street, there's goodness, there's good people all over the place.
Sure.
And so when you get your home in order and you get your family really well taken care of, and thinking positively, looking at positively, creating value in the marketplace, adding value to the world, not being peddling all the smut on social media and consuming negative 24/7, but literally being able to turn inward and have your home become a sanctuary, become a beacon of light. Really have you, who you are, and your home become a beacon of positivity and light. You do that enough times, and there's a lot more freaking light than there is darkness.
Yeah. All right, guys, you're listening to The Real Tarzan, Sean Whalen. Make sure to follow him on all social media platforms. And we have one favor request at the end of the Money Mondays episodes. We think it's an atrocity that we all grew up thinking it's rude to talk about money. The whole concept of this podcast and why we'll be doing this for many, many, many years is we think it's rude to not talk about money. The conversations that are had is will help people with their credit, their rent, their leases, their jobs, their salaries, everything that goes on in what we discuss. It's important to have these discussions. So please share the podcast, like, comment, review, etc. Make sure to follow Tarzan and Sean Whalen, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Money Mondays. We're here with you every Monday, sometimes on Fridays, to talk to you about how to make money, how to invest money, and how to give some away to a charity. We are here with the co-host, The Real Tarzan. And we have a very special guest for today. He is one of the few humans in the world that fought a guy with the name Money as his middle name, Floyd Money Mayweather. So this gentleman is an active investor, athlete. He likes to be a part of business conferences, and that's what I love, because there's a lot of athletes that we've heard that statistic that 85% of them go broke after leaving the NFL, NBA within 5 years of leaving the league. This guy has immersed himself in the business world, and that's what I wish I saw more athletes do, and hopefully he will inspire more athletes to do that after this episode. Please welcome Mr. Andre Berto.
Yo, what's happening?
So if you could, Andre, give us the 2-minute bio, give us the quick story so we can get straight to the money.
I've been beating people up for a while.
That's it.
I don't know, probably 15-time national, amateur national champion, 2004 Olympian, 3-time boxing world champion. Of course, for Mayweather, I made millions of dollars doing what I do, and yeah, we steady at it and doing what we do.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
So why do you think so many athletes go broke after leaving the league?
Of course, I believe the main thing is, of course, just me just being on that side as well, just knowing that a lot of us come from, certain type of environments. Most of these guys, they come from the inner city. So our, view of success, are a lot of things. So, of course,
like material things?
Once we get those contracts, once we get a little bit of that money, that's the first thing that we want to do, to not even reward ourselves, but be able to show everybody where we come from, that we made it. And it's very hard once you get to a certain point and you live at a certain status and your overhead is ridiculous.
Right.
Once things start winding down, which it always does. It's always going to. I know you guys don't want to think that it is, but it's always going to be a downhill moment. And most of the guys retire with that same overhead, but not that same income.
Right.
Period. And that's how it happens on a regular basis. And a lot of them, they're afraid to really scale down,
right,
because of the perception of family, friends, or just people, like fans, whatever the case may be. But you need to throw all that shit out the window. You know what I mean? Like when it's time to scale it down, when it's time to, like I said, hang up the cleats, hang up the ball, hang up the gloves, you really gotta really put yourself in a completely different type of situation.
Yeah, because if you do go broke, those people are not going to be there.
Of course they're not. Of course they're not. So they're gonna talk about you anyway. So as long as you really try to hold on to it without, really having, some type of, like structure in place or a different type of avenue of getting that cash flow, you're gonna lose every time. Every time.
So I've seen so many athletes and entertainers, celebrities, influencers, etc., entrepreneurs, that the lack of information is why.
Yeah.
They just don't know what their credit score. They don't know that they could get an apartment, a loan.
Sure.
They don't know about SBA loans. They don't understand investing and etc.
Sure.
And their surroundings, their circle.
Sure.
Their friends that they grew up with in high school and college. Now they see you made it, and they need $10,000 a month to carry the bag around.
Sure.
They need $8,000 a month, and they need to borrow $20,000 to travel with you and live in your extra bedroom and eat your cereal. And so we watch so many of these guys, and it frustrates me. And that's actually the driving force of the concept of this podcast is I don't want that anymore.
Yeah, but I think it continues to go back to the environments that we came from. That's just automatic. Like when I first turned pro, I was the same way. Okay, cool. You feel like you have the responsibility is on you to take your homeboys with you first.
Right.
These are the things that we, always talked about growing up with these same guys.
Right.
And,
one day I'm going to make it.
One day I'm going to make it.
I'm going to get you all a mansion.
You know what I mean? One day I'm going to make it.
I'm going to get you all a Ferrari.
And you really think it's your responsibility to show and to bring those guys with you, even though they're not doing nothing. A lot of them aren't. You know what I mean? But like I said, sooner or later, all that stuff is just going to weigh. And like I said, I was in the same position at the beginning, and it was kind of ridiculous. Like I took everybody with me. It was never one room for me. It was 20 rooms.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I always got the bill. Nobody ever reached in their pocket, ever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So slowly but surely, I started just to ease away from it because a lot of their issues started to hinder me. I had people that were asking me, like I say, for money for abortion. They asked me for money for, foreclosure homes. Just a lot of shit that just wasn't. It didn't have anything to do with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they felt like I had a responsibility to take care of it. So I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. And as soon as you try to go away from it, scale away from it, they look at you like you've changed. But you You're supposed to change.
We're supposed to grow.
But at the same time, it's really them that change at the same time. So I think a lot of people, they really get it a lot sooner than others. And some guys, they get it too late. Now all the money is gone, all the friends are gone, and now they're looking at you like you look crazy. How the fuck you lost all this money? Like, what did you do? Like, it's crazy.
Why do you immerse yourself with so many business people, business conferences? I always see you with ballers, entrepreneurs, billionaires, yachts, etc. You're always immersed with it. I love it. Can you explain it?
I think just like you said, I think a lot of people, they fall victim, to a lot of knowledge that they don't know. And just like you said, when it comes to a lot of athletes, we get into this world of course, we're so focused on our sport, and we've always been told to don't focus on anything else. Just focus on boxing. Just focus on football. You got your business manager, whatever the case may be. He's gonna handle everything else. You know what I mean? But I've been in a position to see so many, terrible stories happen. Right. And I've always just wanted to be, a lot different in that space. And I've always had a knack for, for business. You know what I mean? Like even in my boxing career. So now it's like, just more than ever, I just want to just immerse myself in it just to be able to get as much information as possible, so I can just, of course, just put a lot of things in play myself. I think it's critical at this point. I think athletes in general, when they have so much money, it's crazy. I had a conversation, with a friend of mine, the other day. And of course, there are always conversations of race, like I say, to a sense, when it comes to, it's like money or wealth. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, there's many athletes that have gotten millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars,
Right.
football players, NBA guys, boxers, whatever the case may be, if they had the right information or if they just had the right mindset and structure to really do the right shit with this money,
Right. We'd have more Shaquille O'Neals.
it would
We'd
be
have more
ridiculous.
Magic Johnsons.
It'll be ridiculous.
A-Rod.
It'll be ridiculous. But you have to be able to, want and seek that information as well. You know what I mean? A lot of us, we can't force this stuff on a lot of these guys. So I think, like in my position now, of course, it's me just being in that position of being an athlete. And of course, I fucking know everybody, to a sense. I think it's my job now to really, give that, like I said, I give that new path and let them see this shit and let them see that it's cool
Right.
to do other, dope things in business outside of our sport. And, just hopefully soon it continues that transition.
So during fight nights,
Yeah.
on Friday and Saturday nights, on your Instagram stories,
Yeah.
it's one of the most entertaining things for me every single month. I get to watch you while out and just yell about what people should have done, would have done, could have done, etc.
Love it.
Would you ever become an official commentator for boxing?
Man, you know what? I've been asked, plenty of times. Of course, I've had these conversations with Showtime and a lot of other big, big
Organizations, yeah.
networks. But I don't know. I've always been just always outside of the box. I've always done a lot of different things, especially within our sport that a lot of these fighters don't do. And I just think that it's just too cliche, I think, to a sense, to for a fighter to, say like possibly retire and then just go commentate. But maybe, like I say, we'll see. I think I'm trying to create my own lane in a lot of different areas just to show, like I said, other fighters that it's possible to do a lot of other things, like I say, business or just like another, avenue of entertainment. But like I said, we'll see. I don't know.
When you see some of the social media stars that have entered into the boxing world,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of influencers that have jumped in.
Yep.
Only a couple have been big name, like Logan and Jake, fighting household names and fighting
Yeah.
big names. What are your thoughts about social media influencers that are trying to jump into the boxing world?
Of course, this game is nothing to play with, so they're gonna figure it out real quick. Like the guys that aren't trying to take the sport serious. But but then again, for me, I think I try to look at the good in it, to a sense, because of course the boxing community, a lot of the young fighters that I know, they hate it.
Sure.
They hated these guys. They coming in just because they got these followers and you see Jake's on Showtime and all the a lot of these other young kids, they've been fighting for a long time and don't get that opportunity. But for me, that shows me and it tells me like, okay, well, you guys need to get a lot more serious on that social media
sure.
game.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So just imagine if you're an amazing fighter already, but then again, you put, some great effort into, I say that content.
Yeah, like Ryan Garcia's content's
Ryan
amazing.
Garcia,
Look how big his
crazy.
following is. So good.
It's ridiculous. And a lot of
Tyson Fury. These guys have great content.
that's what I'm saying. And they hate on Ryan just because of that. They're mad. Oh, he's not that good of a fighter, but just because he's a YouTuber, da-da-da-da-da. But that should tell you something. Let's get heavy on this content. If you're that good, just imagine, you put this work behind your content. You'll be fucking, you'll be a mega star as well. So
They would get on Showtime if they could help sell more tickets.
exactly.
Sadly, it's not always just skill.
This is
Not
a
always just
business.
skill. You
Yeah.
could be 15-0, but that kid's 4-0, but he's got 2 million followers.
Of course.
He's gonna sell tickets.
And you starting to see it
Yeah.
now. Like I believe like the music business, of course, kind of started to take the same route. Of course, you see a lot of talented, like music artists, but these kids that have these
Record
have
labels need to
songs,
sell CDs. They need to sell
course.
downloads and Spotify, like
You know what I
everything.
mean? Or you get a young kid out of Alabama that's going crazy on TikTok,
Right.
with a song. He got a deal.
For sure.
Just like that. You know what I mean?
He's getting 90 million views, like a Justin Bieber. That's how it all started.
Of course. And a lot of these, like I say, a lot of
Singing
these
on
labels,
YouTube, 12 years old, like
Crazy.
and a lot of these labels, they're like, shit, we don't want to invest all that money. Like, we'd rather sign somebody that already has a following.
Right.
So,
I have a question.
times has
So,
changed.
I heard that boxers are like compared to a racehorse. Racehorses. He's in a stall. He's like, bro, I gotta run. I gotta go. You got that constant drive.
All the time.
When you finish boxing, how has that transferred into your life?
It's a good question, man. I think a lot of people, that follow me on social, I didn't get amazed that I continue just to go as hard as I am, just getting ready for a fight. Because I think, say just me just boxing, it just really just, it correlates just like so much to life to me. And I believe that boxing has just prepared me for everything, just like in my life, period. When it comes to business, I look at it like a fight. When it comes to, just whatever opportunity that I have, I feel like I have to get ready in some type of way, not just mentally, but physically. So I'm in the gym like I'm getting ready for a fight, but it's really just a big, I got to get ready for like a podcast or a business meeting. I got to try to, secure something else, but just the mentality to try to dominate is always there. For me, it is. You know what I mean? But like I said, of course, a lot of other fighters, once they're done, they're done.
Right.
And those are the worst type of guys to try to see, because just like you said, like we're like these amazing horses. But once you slow it down and once you want to sit around and eat, eat bullshit and not really take care of your body like that anymore, your body kinks up. You start having injuries, you start looking crazy quickly. So, at the end of the day, man, I just always just like to keep that mentality with me each and every day.
Love that.
What do you think is the difference between a amateur boxer, a good boxer, a great boxer, and those that go down in history books?
Man. Of course, an amateur boxer, he still has to learn the ropes.
Is it a mindset? Is there training? Is there work ethic?
Like an amateur boxer. It just depends. You can be, you have to be like 17, 18 years old to turn pro, I believe. So you have to be amateur first. You have to have those fights. But once you get to that point, at 18, if you want to turn pro, or you go to the Olympics, you want to turn pro, I say the mindset has to change. Like I said, as an amateur, I was a dog as an amateur, but once you turn pro, it's a different beast. It's a different beast. No headgear, smaller gloves, and you're fighting, like grown men in front of you that's trying to take you out. So now this is a money game now. The amateurs, of course, we did this shit for fun. I had 300 amateur fights for free.
300 amateur fights?
Amateur fights. 300 amateur fights fought all over the world, and it was just fun. For us then. But once you turn pro, it's business. That's it. It's for the check. So you get a different type of guy in front of you. You have to have that different type of mindset. Now you're fighting in front of hundreds of thousands of people in that ring. Like I say, with smaller gloves, no headgear, with the guy. That's across the ring. That's literally been training
right for this moment,
8 to 9 weeks to try to kill you in front of everybody. So you ain't got nowhere to run. You know what I mean? So you have to have a different type of mentality for that. Yeah.
A lot of times people, they strive for greatness, and whether they're in a team sport, it's a bit different, but when boxing is a solo sport.
Yeah, I love it. I love it that way.
When you go into that ring, I asked this question to Mike Tyson, Oscar De La Hoya, everybody, Hulk Hogan. I asked them all the same question. When I say the word fear, how does that play into when you walk into that boxing ring?
I think it's different for a lot of people. I've seen fighters that will be at a press conference and just talk the fight up, and they will talk crazy to their opponent and just look like they're so confident. But once they walk into the arena, and I see them in the back of that dressing room, and they hear the crowd that's out there waiting for them, and they see other fighters that have probably fought before them come through, just all bloodied up and looking crazy, and just them knowing that they have to go out there. Now all the talk that they've been talking,
gotta back it up.
Now you gotta back it up, and it's just not going to be you and him. It's you and him and hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people watching this. I've seen guys pack it up. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't deal with this. Let's just go and just not fight and pack their fucking bags up and leave.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's a different type of feeling. Just like being in the back of that dressing room. Fighting fear. but at the same time, just having the confidence in your preparation, and then knowing that you're about to walk out there and go out there and try to perform, and try to go out there and try to dominate somebody that was trained to kill you, pretty much. But to know in your mind and be confident enough to know that you're going to dominate them in front of millions of people, it's a different type of feeling. You know what I mean? To be able to walk out there in front of 20,000 people and not let the atmosphere of it all crush you before you get in the ring, which I see that constantly. To be able to walk into the ring and seeing all those people, seeing the lights and seeing cameras in your face, and then looking across the ring, seeing a guy jumping around ready to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to be almost kind of crazy to, You got to be almost kind of crazy to be able to go through all of that emotion and just have the confidence and really feel like this is my show, and I'm gonna show them who I am. You know what I mean? So it's a different type of situation.
Question to build that confidence.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of fighting and boxing and MMA, everything.
Of course.
And I see what like young boxers, not saying they fight tomato cans, but is that the way they get their confidence built up?
Yeah, I think a lot of
pivot to that for myself as well. But I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of young guys that turn pro, and they're new to the pro game, and of course their promoters want to feed them a couple of guys to make sure that make sure they feel good in this pro atmosphere, and they really try to build their confidence as well, and really sit there and watch. It's almost just kind of like a watching game as well. Okay, I want to see what he does, see how he performs, and they really try to watch and see how they try to move into that pro style and see how entertaining that they are, for the fans, and see what type of stallion that they have, to a sense, see if he's gonna be ready for the big race, and somebody that they're really gonna be able to, invest some real money into. You know what I mean? But some guys don't, man. Some guys are superstar amateurs and they can turn pro and they flop all the time.
So it's a Sunday morning.
Sunday.
It's 8 a.m.
Yes, sir.
You just had some food. You just don't feel like it. What do you do to get in the mindset to go to the gym, work out, to get past the I just don't feel like it?
Shit, man. This game, you ain't got time for no I don't feel like it. In this game, you do not have time for I don't feel like it, man, because your opponent over there feel like it.
Yeah, they do.
He feels like it. And that, you got a family to feed. That, pretty much everything, your reputation depends on this. I mean, me, myself, this is something that I've always, look forward to as a young kid. I was focused on this. As a young kid, I used to watch Sugar Ray Leonard, the Mike Tysons. I used to watch HBO, and it just drove me to a completely different place. I needed to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My parents are immigrants from Haiti. And, of course, the way that we grew up, I knew it was up to me to really try to change our circumstance. And I knew I had everything it took. It was anything that could tell me different. You know what I mean? And every time I stepped into a ring with another man, I really wanted to beat the will out of him just to let him know that there's no way he can compare. You know what I mean? Like, that was just my mentality coming up in the game, because it wasn't just for me. It was for, completely, it was for my family. It was for like a whole nation, I was fighting for as well. So my drive was, it was a little different.
When someone is going through boxing, you mentioned earlier you fought 300 times
300
for free.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when a boxer thinks, oh, I'm gonna go be a boxer or UFC fighter or whatever, I'm gonna go make a bunch of money, I'm gonna go make millions of dollars.
Sound good. It sound good. It sound good, man. This game ain't nothing to play with, man. Like I say, guys like myself that have reached the pinnacle on like in the amateur game and in the pro game. I paid my dues. I had over 300 amateur fights. I've won, 20 national championships. Went to 2004 Olympic Games. I paid my dues. So when it was time to turn pro, I believed that I deserved everything that was in front of me. Even more. So, that's what I demanded. of course, every time I got on the microphone, every time I talked to my promoters, I need it all.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just every time it was time to show up, I showed up. Yeah, I put on a hell of a performance, knocked out whoever that was in front of me. And, you know, I kept it moving, man. I had, well, shit, it's been almost probably 19 years now. You know, of course, just cruising and shit, just doing my thing. You know? And still looking good, ready to get it.
Ready.
Let's see what's up. But yeah, man, it's been good.
So on the charity side, we like to
sir.
talk about investing money, making money. Now let's talk
Yes.
about the charity side. How do you decide, outside of what you cut a check for, how do you decide what to put your personal brand behind?
Yeah.
Because if you say you like a charity, then other people want to
Yeah.
donate or be a part of it.
Yeah.
How do you decide what to get behind?
I mean, me myself, I really try to go from like personal experiences, man. Like me, I've always been heavy into the Boys and Girls Club because I pretty much, you know, grew up there. You know, with my parents, of course. You know, of course, like I said, we're Haitian immigrants, so they worked constantly. They were at work constantly, so we spent most of our time at the Boys and Girls Club. We went to school, went to Boys and Girls Club after, go home about, you know what I mean, we walked home about 7 o'clock. That's when we seen our parents. So I believe I went there from 6 years old to probably 14, like 13, 14 years old. You know, so I give a lot to, I say my local Boys and Girls Club. They've known me for years, just giving back there. And also, you know, of course in Haiti as well. Yeah, I'm out of Haiti, you know, on a regular basis. I have, I don't know, I have a school and I have an orphanage there. And of course, after the big hurricane, like the big, earthquake there, you know, I canceled my fight with Shane Mosley and flew straight out to Haiti. Me, and I had a big group with me, and like I say, like, that's what I love to do. I love to give back to my people. I love to, you know, give back to Haiti, love to give back to the Boys Club, the people that I can really, you know, connect to. So that's pretty much where all my charity, efforts go to.
Why do you think it's important for more athletes to do more charity or align themselves with a charity?
You have to, man. I believe, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, all the success that I've had, all the money that I got a chance to make, I never believed that it's all for me. You know what I mean? I just don't believe it. Of course, I have a lot of people just in my life that's helped me get to that point. A lot of situations, like I say, if it's a boys club, if it's like my Haitian people, my parents, like I say, this stuff, I don't believe everything is for me. So I believe that you always have to try to connect yourself to something greater. Always have to connect yourself to something greater. It's the only way that you can really stay aligned out here in this world, man. There's too much other bullshit going on. There's so much other craziness going on out here. So I think it's extremely important.
Why do you think it's important for middle school, high school kids to actually choose or get aligned with a sport?
I think it's a must. I think it's something that is just going to benefit them, you know, just later on, just life period. If it's boxing, karate, whatever the case may be, you need to be able to try to get involved in something that's going to structure your discipline, you know, in a sense. I think you move different. I believe you think different as a man or a woman once you align yourself with a sport. You know what I mean? When you really try to put just everything into it, I believe that consistency, that discipline, everything plays a part, especially later on in life.
Tarzan, would you ever get in the ring?
Absolutely.
Tarzan up in there.
Absolutely.
Already know he's
Do I
ready.
think that I'm capable of beating a professional boxer? Fuck no.
I believe you probably can. You get a few.
A retired one, maybe.
You get a few
In
weeks
MMA, you know.
You get
But no,
a few-
I have such a real respect for, you know, boxers and professional fighters because, especially in this, I have a lot of friends that I'm really close with. And also my family's big into boxing. My great grandpa was Golden Gloves back in the day.
Nice.
And it's a typical story, you know, but I know and I see all the hard work that boxers and professional fighters put in. And, you know, the whole influencer thing, like I'm great friends with Jake and Logan.
Yeah.
You know, but I saw a lot of guys disrespecting these boxers and these, you know, these current fighters. And like, man, these guys, like, they live, eat, and breathe this stuff. They're actually they actually will kill you with their bare hands. You know, they will beat you to a pulp. You know, and they're nothing to play with. They're nice and they're sweet. Man. You know, they do their stuff. But if someone locks you in a cage or a ring with them, bro, you don't stand a chance, bro. Don't stand a chance.
It's a go time.
And how I know that, one of my buddies, you know, he was hurt, and fucking around with me, hitting me. He's like, bro, punch me. I'm like, bro, I'm not punching you.
Punch
I'm not
me.
punching you. But he's punching me. He's punching me soft. And he racks me. Bang! And I'm like, all right, I punched him right in the forehead hard as I could.
In the forehead.
Wow! And he just ate it. And I'm like, bro, that was my best shot.
Bro, I'm done. That's it.
12 rounds with that guy.
I'm done. That's it.
I ain't scared of nothing. Nothing.
That's
18-foot snakes.
Nothing. Crocodiles, nothing.
That's
But those boxers, man.
they're a little crazy. You got to be a
Crazy,
little,
man.
they're a little nuts. A lot of them got to
MMA's
be a little
different.
nuts.
I'll go in the ring, octagon, all day. But boxing is like, you got to be ready for that, man. 12 rounds.
That's a different beast,
Stand up.
bro.
Whoa, you better
That's-
be ready,
that's a
man. They're
different
coming.
beast.
Like you said, that man across the cage,
He's coming.
he's coming to take you out. So,
Regardless, he's coming. What you gonna do?
You only got a couple options.
What you gonna do?
get
Like I said,
down and lay down.
and that's why I love it, man. 'Cause like I say, you find out the truth about yourself in the ring. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter, the type of shit you talk. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. That person says, you're gonna find out the truth about who you really are. I've had fights where when I'm fighting a guy and I'm hitting him with everything, and he's coming right back. Boom, 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 boom. He's hitting me with some shit. And I'm really talking to myself when I go back to the corner. I'm like, okay, damn, okay, I need to calm down. I need to breathe. He comes out, I need to go left. I need to do this, I need to do that. Okay, I need to keep my hand up. Like you really start talking to yourself. Either you're gonna fold in that moment or you're gonna try to figure it out. And it gets to a point sometimes, like I've been in positions where my body just goes numb to a sense. From all the shots, all the punching, and you really just want to just show that person, hey, I'm here and I'm not going nowhere. It's a mental warfare. Of course, it's physical, but it's a mental warfare when you're in there. Especially when you fight a guy that's really coming to get it. You got to show that person that you're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And that's where the real fight begins. All right, now who's going to break? Now who's going to break? Now who's going to break first? It's crazy, man. It's crazy, but you got to love it, man. It's poetry. It's poetry. It's brutal, but it's poetry in there, too.
You've been spending a lot of time at Boxer Gym in Miami,
Yeah.
BOXR.
Yeah,
The place
yeah,
is
yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
The place is humongous.
Yeah, it's dope.
How do you choose what type of gym to align yourself with? Because obviously you're going to bring a lot of people
For
to it.
sure. And that's what's been happening. Me and Matt need to talk about our business. Mateo, you know what I mean? We need to see what's going on. But yeah, man, I moved down here and some guys told me to link up with Mateo. And the gym was about to open, of course. He was excited just to have me come through. I walked through and I'm like, all right, cool, shit, I'm here. You know what I mean? So I went there like the first day that it even opened. And of course, like I say, he's done a great job, just outfitting the place. And when I got there,
gorgeous,
man,
yeah.
I just really turned it up in there. And everybody on my Instagram and everybody on my Insta stories, they're like, all the celebrities, oh man, when I'm in Miami,
Right, I'm coming to see you.
where's that place? Where's that
For
place?
sure.
Where's that place? So I've done my piece of bringing a lot of big guys in there, but I say like Matt, Mateo, man, they've been killing it too. So we I don't know, we need to try to line some business from, maybe some. Right now I just been doing it off the love, man. I love those guys, man. They've been killing it. So it's been good, man. The gym it's amazing.
So someone out there, last question,
Yes, sir.
is they're young. They're
Yeah.
trying to decide their sport and they're like, you know what? I want to go into boxing. I'm 13 years old. I'm ready to do it, dad or
Yeah.
older brother. Like, I'm ready to go in the ring. What are some things you would tell that young boxer before they go into the go down this path?
ready. Be ready. It won't be easy. Just stay focused, man. And if you're gonna do the sport, you gotta go all the way into it. You can't half-ass this one, or you're gonna get hurt. Make smart decisions. Make sure to have a great team. Make sure to try to align and do your due diligence and just link up with the right people. Because I've seen a lot of talented fighters, they link up with the wrong team and you don't really, and they're off. You know what I mean? So just try to make sure you try to, find a great team, put that work in, and, just get ready for that roller coaster ride. It's coming. But most importantly, since we're on Money Mondays, make sure your money's right.
Yeah.
You can have all the business managers you want, but make sure you take in that knowledge and know what you're doing as well. That's critical. A A lot of athletes, man, they really just hand their shit over, and it's
Yep.
crazy to a point that we're out there risking our lives on a regular basis in the boxing ring, football, basketball, and we really just put it in other people's hands. All the
Right.
money that we've made,
Right.
millions.
Don't ask any questions.
And don't ask any questions.
Right.
Don't want to do any type of research. He's gonna. Listen, man. Listen, do your homework, study up on it, and nobody's gonna take care of your money less than better than you can. And don't fuck it up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Period.
you are listening to Andre Berto. Make sure to follow him on social media.
Yes, sir.
We have our co-host here, The Real Tarzan. Make sure to follow him on social media. And we always have one request at the end of these episodes. Visit us on themoneymondays.com. Share the podcast. Have the discussions with people. Talk to them about rent, leases, investing, FICO scores, credit. Like, have the discussions. We all grew up thinking it's rude to talk about money. We think it's rude to not talk about money. So
Right.
make sure you talk about money and the Money Mondays. We'll see you next week.
There we go. Baby.